Hi there, and welcome to Lorena's Labyrinth today. Today, we're going to be talking about brown, but as usual, I would like to acknowledge your presence and thank you for joining me on this journey of mine today. If you're a newbie, thank you for jumping aboard. I hope that you'll be staying. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel. If you're a returning visitor, hey, thank you very much for your ongoing support. Just a reminder to everybody and for the information of the newbies, I'm open to all sorts of comments and feedback on the channel about what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see more of. If you've got different viewpoints and understandings of colours than what I put up, I invite you to put your comments up as well, because this is all part of us growing and developing who we are. So without further ado, let's get into brown. So first of all, when we talk about any colour, to establish its connection to the chakras, we look at the breakdown of a colour and its components, and that will give us an idea of the metaphysical energies that we'll be working with. Now, within the context of brown, this is a mixing of colours of the red, the blues, and the yellows. Now, of course, you get depth and lightness from the addition of extra colours. Some of the really dark browns, they can have a touch or a smidgen of black, whereas the white ones, and actually when we talk about black, we're talking actually about a really deep sapphire blue. Let's not go down that pathway. Okay, but we can lighten up the colour brown by adding shades of white. So the bottom line is, when it comes to the properties of the colour brown, we're looking at a colour that connects the shades and the properties of the red chakra, which is about base survival and will and direction of will. And when we look at the yellow, we are looking at colours to do with empowerment, trust, faith, and hope. When we're looking at colours associated with the blue, we're looking at peace, protection, communication, and also the capacity to see and to understand internally and externally. And by that I mean knowing ourselves and understanding the space that other people come from as far as their position. So it helps to build empathy to a level. However, within the relevance of the chakra body, the brown is actually associated with what we call the Earth Star chakra. And this is a chakra that actually isn't on this image or this graphic. Basically, if the person was standing up, if you imagine that you're standing up and you're in this white bubble, there is the aura, which is the white bubble part here, extends about 1.5 meters out from your left, right, above and below you. So where the earth chakra is situated is basically below your feet at about 1.5 meters, maybe a little closer to home if you like. And as I said, that's called the earth star, and it's considered to be the point of grounding and what is called our earth connection. It connects us to the core of the earth, if you like. It helps us to remain grounded, but it also, as you will see in this video here, it connects us to part of the universal wisdom. So when I refer to the earth chakra, we're referring to that aspect of energy that is about acting as a conduit to the nature kingdom. Because, trying to think how to sort of summarize this briefly, anything that's associated with the earth is considered to have a life force. If it's alive, if it's living, if it's a plant, of course, they're living, they're breathing, they're creating oxygen and all of this kind of thing. That is part of the nature kingdom. The nature kingdom also includes the species that are on the planet, if you like, on the earth. And that's the birds, the insects, I can't think of anything else, the little reptiles, frogs, lizards, you name it. And in many ways, when we connect with the Earth Star, it's a bit like this image that we've got here with the tree, where the energy from us that connects us gravitates out much like the root system of this tree here. Obviously, it's not visible to the naked eye. So when we draw upon the colour of brown, the properties that we're believed to draw upon are said to enhance things like maintaining our boundaries, forming our boundaries, and creating a balance within ourselves. Now, when you look at this image here, you see that the bigger part, or the top of the tree, which is the green foliage, has a root system that is basically the equivalent of what we see above the surface. So what we're seeing here is up as above and so below. Balance is an ideal state, and this includes having a balanced perspective And we're able to retain or create and maintain a balanced perspective by having healthy boundaries. And I wanted to take pause and mention the root system here and try and give a visual of what happens with boundaries, because we as people, we have boundaries too, but we have them in a different way. So with the tree here, you've got the root system under the surface, and it needs to have a well-defined space for growth and health. And if there was a heap of other trees here alongside of it, the reality is that their root systems they might all intrude with each other, and as such deplete each other of certain vital minerals necessary for them to have full plant growth and health. Now, it's similar for us humans. If we are always merging our boundaries or blurring our boundaries, then we're potentially depleting ourselves. But fortunately for us as humans, we can put boundaries in place and keep them strong. The other things to know too is that when we use the colour of brown, we can draw upon the colour or the brown ray, if I can speak, the brown ray, to help support healthy boundaries, as well as to keep our focus on healing and maintaining this connection to the earth. I don't think I articulated that very well. I'll see if I can fix it as we go along. But you know what? I could re-record this, but I don't think I will. I think I'll leave it up with my errors, showing that I'm a human and I'm not artificial intelligence. This is the real deal. So I will leave it up with my errors, okay? So this graphic that we're looking at here is not the best example of having a healthy boundary. And this is because the boundaries are too close to those toes when you look at them there. This is what we would call tight boundaries, okay? If this was our literal boundary, it's too tight. This means that we would be letting too many people basically come in close and impose upon us, a bit like the imaginary trees that I just tried to articulate or express verbally just before. It means that we don't have enough space to thrive. But either way, when we connect to the healing properties of nature and when we draw upon the colour brown, we can certainly revive our energy in as far as creativity goes, and also be energized to actually push those boundaries out a little bit further to where we're comfortable, where we feel comfortable, where we feel safe, and where we feel confident, and where we're not actually picking up on other people's stuff, if you know what I mean. I mean, where we're not carrying other people's emotional baggage for them. So there's a saying I read somewhere along the way, I can't remember where I heard it, which is we all have our own baggage to carry. It could be another saying like we all carry our own rods, or we've got our rods to bear, or whatever. But the point being that life issues all of us challenges, and we all have to make our way past those challenges and shift those burdens, shall we like. But when we shift the burdens, we don't actually transfer them over to somebody else to carry for us because they're too heavy. We actually work through those burdens and we lighten them ourselves through healing and changing attitudes, changing the way we feel about them, and to get some really deep healing going on. Now, if you are drawn to or repelled by the colour brown at the moment, it definitely is a recommendation to take a look at your boundaries, and if they are being compromised by people around you who might have unreasonable expectations upon you. And by that I mean they might be actually, do you know what? I think I probably need to do a separate video on what a transfer and a projection is. I've touched upon it in other videos that I've loaded on the channel, which is definitely on boundaries within relationships and that kind of thing. So I would recommend, if you're, as I say, repelled to or drawn to the colour brown, that you check out that video as part of getting some information on how to physically manifest healthy boundaries in your relationships. But a good place to start is actually by working with the brown ray. And the way we would do it is we go outside. So this is a simple activity. And this is about reinforcing the mind energetically, yes, depending on what you believe. There are people that will believe that energy is involved with that. Obviously, I am. I'll put my hand up for that. But each to their own. But anyway, what you do is you go outside and you draw a circle on the ground with your feet. Try and make it a large one, bigger than this other image that we put up before. It needs to be large enough for you to stand in and have some space around it. Go for, I would recommend about 1.5 meters. Anywhere from 0.9 meters to 1.5 meters is considered to be a healthy boundary. Once you have drawn the circle, step inside. Take a few deep breaths of fresh air deep into your lungs, and then visualize yourself in this pillar of light that is the color of brown. And this color of light, or this pillar, is going to enter through the top of your crown, pass through your body, potentially, hopefully, have room either side, because this is your visualization. Visualize yourself standing within it. So there's space on either side of this pillar that passes through you and connects you to the earth through your feet. Now, as you do so, make the affirmation here, which is divine light. I choose to create and maintain healthy boundaries between myself and others. I choose to listen to my own divine guidance and follow it, respecting myself, valuing myself, and loving myself. Now, after you've made your affirmation, state how you would like to be treated by others and also how you would like to treat them. But boundaries really is about identifying what it is that you can compromise, not necessarily compromise, because you don't have to give up to stay well. But when we're in loving relationships or friendships or whatever, sometimes people aren't aware that what they do is hurtful. So it's a matter of identifying it. So you would write a list of how you would like to be treated by people, and then you would stay in the circle for as long as you feel comfortable and until you feel clear about your boundaries. So there's a second exercise as well that you can do by harnessing the power of brown, and that is one that involves sitting outdoors. You don't necessarily have to do the circle in the ground, but you can actually sit there, perhaps hold something brown, hold something brown coloured, a piece of wood perhaps. No, perhaps not a piece of wood, because that's got no energy left in it. It's lifeless if it's not part of a tree. Just hold something brown or visualize brown if you like, and just hold that vision perhaps for a minute or two, and then start writing a list, because this activity is more about the reflective part of healing as opposed to visualizing. And what you do is you write a list of what love and care means to you, which is asking the questions, what does love mean? Obviously, it's multi-tiered. It's a very multi-layered word. It can mean parental love. It can mean sibling love. It can be friendship love. You know what I mean? So define it. I've got a video up about that, actually. You might want to check it out, the different types of love there are. And then what does care mean to you? And then it would be a case of, how do you show the people that you love them and care about them, and how would you like those people to show you that they love you? And is there a difference on each list? Do you hold higher expectations for giving love as opposed to receiving it? These are basic questions. Do you need to change what you accept from others, or do you need to tell those people that you love and care about that you do love them, or that you can no longer accept being treated in a certain way? Do you need to tell these people that you really, really appreciate them for who they are, what they are, and how they show you love and kindness? This is part of ensuring that we don't take our loved ones for granted. So it really is a total reflective activity which you can do on writing or in writing, and then convert it into action. And you are encouraged to turn it into action quicker or sooner rather than later. So, my friends, that is it for today. A video that's not particularly long, and thank God for that, you all say. Big sigh of relief. Once again, thank you for being part of my journey. Have a wonderful day, blessed week. Take care of yourselves. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye for now. Toorah.